What if I told you that the Golden Girls started as a complete joke about the wrong TV show? Or that one of the cast members was actually younger than the person playing her daughter? Buckle up, because the secrets behind this iconic sitcom are about to get weird. The Golden Girls wasn't supposed to exist. In 1984, NBC was hosting a special preview event to showcase Miami Vice, the gritty cop drama that would define 80s television. Two comedians, Selma Diamond and Doris Roberts, were brought in to present the network's lineup. But instead of talking about Miami Vice, they performed an improvised skit about a show called Miami Nice. They described elderly retirees in Florida, playing cards, taking cha-cha lessons, and lounging on the beach in their mink coats. The audience erupted with laughter. NBC executive Brandon Tartikoff sat in that audience, captivated. He thought, wait, what if this joke could actually become a real show? When creator Susan Harris came aboard, the show was renamed The Golden Girls. And just like that, television history was born from a comedy sketch that was never meant to be taken seriously. Here's something that will mess with your head. Estelle Getty, who played the sharp-tongued Sicilian mother Sophia Petrillo, was 62 years old when the show premiered. B. Arthur, who played her daughter Dorothy, was 63. Yes, the mother was actually younger than her daughter in real life. Every single morning before filming, Getty would sit in the makeup chair for 45 minutes while artists applied prosthetic pieces to create wrinkles and age spots. They fitted her with a gray wig because her natural hair was still dark and youthful. The transformation was so convincing that audiences never questioned it. Getty almost didn't get the role at all. During her initial audition, producers thought she looked far too young. It was only when she returned wearing the gray wig and aging makeup that they realized she could pull it off. B. Arthur had some seriously bizarre demands written into her contract. The legendary actress had an intense hatred of wearing shoes. This woman had it officially written into her Golden Girls contract that she was allowed to walk around the set barefoot between takes and during rehearsals. The catch? She had to agree not to sue the producers if she injured herself. Cast and crew became accustomed to seeing Arthur padding down the soundstage in her bare feet. But shoes weren't the only thing Arthur couldn't stand. She also harbored an intense dislike for birds and had an equally passionate hatred of chewing gum. The crew learned quickly to avoid both in her presence. The most iconic setting in The Golden Girls, that kitchen where the women gathered for late-night heart-to-hearts over cheesecake, was never supposed to exist. When creator Susan Harris first wrote the pilot script, there was no kitchen included. This last-minute addition left assistant art director Michael Hines scrambling. To save time and money, he recycled an existing kitchen set from another sitcom. But this created bizarre problems. The kitchen didn't actually have a working oven. Whenever actresses needed to take food out of the oven during a scene, they were really just opening an empty cabinet and pretending. The bigger problem was that adding the kitchen made the entire house floor plan completely nonsensical. Rose's bedroom would have technically been located in the backyard. For 7 seasons, the kitchen that became the heart of the show was essentially a beautiful, impossible lie. Before you hit that subscribe button, let me tell you about George Clooney's appearance on the show, because the real reason he did it is absolutely wild. Long before George Clooney became Hollywood royalty, he was a struggling actor desperately trying to keep his health insurance active. In 1987, Clooney appeared in a season 2 episode playing an undercover detective. According to reports, Clooney's agent specifically requested this guest appearance so the young actor could maintain his medical insurance coverage through the Screen Actors Guild. He needed to work a certain number of days per year to qualify for health benefits. The Golden Girls role helped him reach the minimum requirements during a period when he was bouncing between small guest spots. Years later, Clooney fondly remembered his time on set, calling Betty White a godsend and describing B. Arthur as the funniest person in the world with a filthy sense of humor.
B. Arthur was the funniest person in the world. They were all hysterically funny, but B. Arthur really made me laugh. She was filthy funny. Betty White was a godsend.
Betty White and Rue McClanahan originally swapped roles, and this decision almost prevented the show from happening. The original plan was to cast Betty White as Blanche because White had played promiscuous characters before. They wanted Rue McClanahan to play Rose since she had experienced playing wholesome roles. However, both actresses were concerned about being typecast. White wanted to play Rose to avoid being seen as only capable of playing sexually forward characters. McClanahan was eager to take on the more daring role of Blanche. The producers agreed to let them swap parts. B. Arthur had initially been reluctant to join because playing Dorothy alongside McClanahan would be too similar to their previous work together on Maude. When Arthur heard that they had switched roles, she became much more interested and finally agreed to take the part that would define her career. That distinctive wicker purse Sophia carried throughout the series? Estelle Getty found it herself in a thrift store while shopping for her audition. She purchased it and brought it along, and producers loved how perfectly it fit. But that purse served a much more important function than anyone predicted. Despite her Emmy-winning performance, Getty suffered from crippling anxiety when performing in front of the live studio audience. As her memory problems grew worse due to anxiety, Getty began writing her lines directly on the wicker purse and other props she could glance at during filming. That innocent accessory became a hidden cue card that helped her get through scenes when she would freeze up. The Golden Girls had fans in some seriously unexpected places. Princess Diana and Freddie Mercury were close friends who shared a love for the show, but they didn't watch it the way most people did. They would spend afternoons at Mercury's home, drinking champagne and watching Golden Girls reruns with the sound completely off. Diana and Mercury would improvise their own dialogue for the characters, creating much naughtier storylines that were far more risque than anything allowed on 80s network television. They would take turns providing voices, creating increasingly outrageous scenarios while laughing hysterically. This revealed a playful side to both of them that the public rarely got to see. If you're enjoying these insane facts, make sure you're subscribed because we've got 2 more that will blow your mind. Dorothy's bold and dramatic earrings became one of her most recognizable fashion statements. But here's what viewers didn't realize. Every single pair was clip-ons. B. Arthur had never had her ears pierced. While Arthur appreciated how the bold earrings added to her character's presence, she was honest about the discomfort. After wearing heavy clip-on earrings for hours during filming, her ears would be completely numb from the constant pressure. The crazy earrings may have looked fabulous on camera, but they came at the physical cost of her ears losing all feeling by the end of each taping. And finally, before Quentin Tarantino became one of the most influential filmmakers in modern cinema, he appeared on The Golden Girls as one of 12 Elvis personators. His initial payment was $650, but when the episode was selected for a Best Of compilation, his earnings eventually grew to over $3,000 thanks to residual payments. Years later, Tarantino revealed that the money he made from The Golden Girls helped him fund the pre-production costs for Reservoir Dogs, his debut film that would launch him into Hollywood stardom. The Golden Girls may have seemed like a simple sitcom, but behind those pastel walls lurked contract demands, hidden cue cards, recycled sets, and connections to some of the most famous people in the world. These women created something that transcended television and became a cultural phenomenon. Thank you for watching. And remember, sometimes the best things in life start as a joke about the wrong TV show.